Yeah, so let's start it. So we are gonna start seated. So find something comfortable to sit. You can sit onto your knees, or you can sit cross-legged or with your legs to the front, whatever works for you. I love to sit cross-legged, but my knee doesn't allow it. And actually, when I'm sitting on my knees, I feel more of a length in the spine. So I invite you to explore, maybe not now immediately, but just on occasion, just explore how you sit the best. And as you all know, the reason we do the physical yoga is to get easier or better in our body so that we can sit for long hours meditating. So let's just close our eyes for a moment in order to arrive here. So taking natural breaths to start. Your hands are very relaxed on your thighs. You can bring the palms on top of each other or just palms down on your thighs or up, whatever is comfortable. So we don't want to force anything. And we're just gonna do a quick scan of our upper body. So from the crown of the head, imagine you're walking down your spine, but at the same time you're looking at your spine. So the looking is gonna come from inside. How does your spine feel? Does it feel straight? Does it feel stiff? Is it hurting? You might not feel anything. And then when you try to imagine that, how does it look? Does it look straight? Or can you imagine where maybe there's a little bit more pain that you're compensating to be painless, to be more comfortable? So taking a breath in, really walking down your spine all the way to your tailbone. Imagine there are steps. And then you arrive at the tailbone. And then you're going to split you're going to go to each side of your sacrum. So really rounding around your sacrum, gently moving to the front. And then taking a breath in. And then again, joining around the pubic bone. And then walking up to your belly button. And just stay there for a moment. So observing how is my belly, how are my organs this morning. Rethinking about how your spine looked like. Does that influence how my belly feels? So we're not changing anything for the moment, we're just observing. And then very slowly continue that way up. And just where the floating ribs, so where your sternum starts, there is one energy center which is called the solar plexus. And it's when you connect with that, there's a lot of heat. So it's the energy center. So just feel, maybe you feel it, maybe you don't. It's all okay. I don't want to go too much into those energy centers. And then gently go up and imagine your lungs. Take a breath in. Imagine what happens with your lungs. Really imagine that you're looking at an X-ray as you are breathing. And then exhaling. And then inhaling again. Filling up the lungs. So now see what happens with your ribs. Are the ribs being pushed out or you're just containing within the ribs? And then gently bring your attention to your heart. You can bring it to your physical heart. So the physical heart is slightly left. Your energy heart is in the center of your sternum. So just observe, see what you feel. And again, look at your heart pumping, bringing life. And slowly going up to your throat. Stay in your throat for a moment and feel as you bring your attention to your throat if there is anything changing there. Sometimes you start to feel something like almost your throat closing off or kind of a tension there. So just observe, see what happens. And then continuing to breathe. And as if your fingers were going over your face. So really giving your face like a walk through both hands each side and then all the way up again to the crown of your head. And then we're going to do one more thing here from the crown of your head, going down to your throat, like through the center. And then bring the attention to your arms. So first the shoulders, walking down on your arms, all the way down to your hands. If your palms are down or up, maybe you feel sensations in the palm of your hands. Like don't look for it, it's just a sensation. And if you can't feel it, that's okay, don't worry about it. And then gently coming back up. And keep your attention in your heart. So you're going to take a deep breath in now and see if we can maybe elongate the spine. Keeping the eyes closed, feel if there is a change in the image of the spine. So the visual image as you inhale, you might feel the lengthening. Can you also see it with your eyes closed? And then exhaling, keeping the spine long, slowly coming down. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhaling. And then very slowly, we're going to open the eyes. We're going to bring the arms to the side. And inhale, reach the arms up. Reaching up one side, the other side, opening the side of our body. And then both arms up again. And exhale, bring the arms down. Keeping the left on the floor, reaching the right up. Finding that length before you start to go over to the left. Open your armpit. So if you want, you can bring the palm forward. Inhaling, exhaling. You can press your right hip a little bit more to the right. Inhale, exhale. And then slowly coming back to center. We're gonna inhale, reach both arms up to realign the spine. Exhale down. Inhale up, this time right arm comes down, lengthen the left. And again, opening to the side. And since we did this imaging at the beginning, you might want to continue doing that and just observe your spine. What am I actually doing? What's happening with the vertebra? Like, or if you prefer to focus on the sensation, you focus on what you want. And then turning the palm forward, opening the armpit. And then slowly coming back. And again, inhaling, reaching the arms up and exhaling down. We're going to bring the fingertips to the back. So fingers are pointing back on your fingertips. And then inhale, press your belly forward as if you're having a very big belly. So press it forward, roll the shoulders back, bring your shoulder blades together, press into your fingers, curving the spine. So be gentle here, especially if you have lower back issues. You don't want to compress too much. Inhaling, exhaling. You can keep looking forward or to the ceiling. I wouldn't recommend to drop your head. It's a lot of weight. And then slowly coming forward, bring the hands to the front. So just stay here for a moment. You want to realign your spine from a back bend to a rounding of the spine. So now press your belly button towards your spine. Start to round your spine. Press into your hands. Bring the chin to the chest and feel the rounding of the spine. Inhale, exhale. And then slowly coming up. Bring the arms to the side. And we're gonna very gently, so you don't wanna go too far, you wanna keep your arms in one line, and we're gonna very gently move to the right. So if you don't have space, you can always bend your elbows, and then coming back to center, and then move to the left. So keeping the arms in one line, rolling the shoulders back. So just move very gently here, or twisting in the spine. And one more time. And then coming back to center and release. You can do a few rolls with your head. So keeping the shoulders very stable. A trick is to cross the arms, hold on to the shoulders. So you can almost say to your shoulders, okay, stay down. And then we're gonna just roll the head from side to side. If it's comfortable for you, you can do a 360 roll, but just remember how heavy your head is. And then if you go back, you have to hold it. And when you hold it, there's a lot of tension in the muscles. So just be aware, move very slowly. And then let's come back to center, release the arms. We're gonna come onto our hands and knees. So placing the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. And we're just gonna press the hips to the right and then look at our left foot via the left. So we're pressing the hips to the right to look at your left foot behind you. And then coming back to center. And now press the hips to the left and look over your right shoulder to your foot. And let's do this one more time each side. So keep the knees very light. You don't want to press your knees down here. And then coming back to center. We're going to start to make circles with the hips. So you can do 8s or you can do 0s, full circle. So if you do an 8, you start from the center, go to your left elbow, left side, back, coming back to the center, and then doing the other side. If you want to do 8s, you can have a little bit more range. The movement is bigger, but it's not that focused. So you choose what feels good for your body. Make sure you change sides, whatever you're doing. And keep on breathing. That calm breath, filling up the lungs. So not too much effort, but not a very shallow breath. And then coming back to center. We're gonna, just for the wrists, a little exercise. So if your wrists are painful, don't go too far. So here we want to move very slowly. So you're going to come forward, your hands are flat. We're going to come forward with our body. So reaching forward, getting a stretch into our wrists. Keep your arms straight. So we're in a plank on our knees, but really moving forward. And then coming back. Now we're going to turn the wrist the other way. So your fingers are pointing back. And then move back. So if this is too much, please, please, please go very slowly. So we're just stretching these muscles, going to our hands and the forearms, giving us a little bit more mobility in the wrist. And then coming back to center, come onto your knees and just shake it out for a moment. And let's go back. So we're gonna do 5 rounds of cat and cow. This is one of the best movements you can do in the morning as you wake up, especially if you have lower back issues. So first find your neutral spine, strong arms. Inhale and exhale. So again, imagine your spine, it's neutral now. And then inhale, lift your tailbone, drop your belly button, really drop it down. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen your neck and look up. So you don't want to look to the ceiling, you don't want to compress the cervical spine. And then as you exhale, bring the tailbone down. Lift your belly button, so very active in the abdominals. Press into your hands, bring the chin to the chest, round, round, round the spine. And now move at the rhythm of your breath for 4 more rounds. I like to close my eyes here so I can really feel the breath guiding my movement. and creating a sort of fluidity. Inhaling, or wherever you are. Exhaling. And then coming back to neutral spine. So we're gonna bend the left elbow and bring the forearm on the floor. So you can go diagonal and the right hand can just rest on the floor. It's gonna be a little bit of a support, but we're not leaning on it. We're mostly leaning on our left arm. We're gonna lift the right knee. Flex your foot, so you don't wanna have your foot just hanging there. Flex your foot. And then bring the right knee towards the right elbow. Bring it down to the other knee. Lift it up. And then open your knee. And let's make circles. So we are moving the hip joint here to wake it up, for sure. And as we're moving, we're actually bringing some fluids in there that are really necessary. And then coming up, and then change direction. Maybe you can do a little bit bigger circle or smaller. Explore. We're not looking for extreme sensations. We're just looking for feel good movements. And then coming back to center and coming on to both hands and knees. Just for a moment, close your eyes, observe. Inhaling, exhaling. And then bending the right elbow, diagonal position for your hand is more stable, slightly pressing into the left hand, lifting the left knee, flexing the left foot, and starting to make circles. So really point towards your left elbow, go to the right knee, go back, and then open your knee to the side. So then really you're getting that maximum rotation in the hip joint. And then changing direction. One more time. And then coming back to center and release. Bring the hands in the front of the mat. We're gonna keep the knees a little bit more back. We're gonna extend the spine, so in preparation of downward dog. Press your thumb and your index finger into the floor, and just for a moment, wherever you are, turn the inside of your elbows forward. But press your thumb and your index into the floor. And as you do this, see if you can roll the shoulders out as well. So go back and opening up. So I'm just going to show here. So bring the inside of the elbow forward, and then as you turn them back in, you're kind of collapsing in your shoulders. So you want to really widen the upper back and the shoulder. So with our eye of the elbow pointing forward, we're going to come to the front. So again, on our hands and knees, but this time the shoulders are above the wrist. And then exhale, press into your hands and press your hips back. Long spine, so continue pushing into your thumb and your index. Eye of the elbows to the ceiling, the shoulders roll out, and press your hips back. So inhale, exhale, press the hips back. Your belly button goes in slightly, so you don't want to compress. You want to feel space, so press your hands down. Really pressing them down. Continue opening the shoulders, opening the upper back. Inhale, exhale. Now we're going to move a little bit, so inhaling back to the front. Exhaling to the back. Go with your breath. 2 more times. And the last. And exhaling. And stay here for 2 more breaths. So pressing the hips back. Inhaling, exhaling. And then Place your forearms on the floor. Fingers are wide. We're gonna tuck our toes. So the distance should be okay. Otherwise, you walk your hands a little bit more to the front. You want to keep your shoulders as wide, or your elbows as wide as your shoulders. You don't want your elbows to move out. That's going to be a lot of work into your shoulders without little control. So we want to really keep those elbows under or at the same width as the shoulders. So tucking the toes under, pressing your hands down, your forearms down, start to lift your hips. So stay with your knees bent to start. And then push your forearms forward and your head in between your arms. Inhale, so dolphin pose, big shoulder opener. If your arms are gliding out, I would recommend to come back down. Eventually, we can always put a strap to hold your arms together. Inhale, it's not very comfortable when you put a strap. If you need more sensation, so just don't get distracted from the main thing we're doing, opening the shoulders, but if you want more sensation, you can lengthen out your legs, feel the stretch into your legs. Otherwise, just keep them bent and focus on bringing your head more to the back. One more breath here, and exhale, release. Bring your knees down, bring your arms back, and come into your version of child's pose. So you can open your knees, keep the big toes together, or you can just keep the knees together, bring your forehead down or onto something. I suggest here to release your arms to the back so that you can rest your shoulders. This is a big shoulder opener. And also if you need, move your wrists a little bit. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And then for a moment again, imagine your back. So your spine, the ribs. Take a breath in and imagine what happens. Visualize what happens with your spine, the ribs expanding, air filling up your lungs. And exhaling, release. Reaching the arms forward, walking your hands forward. Bring the knees as wide as the hips, tucking the toes, very gently moving into our first downward dog. So remember what we just did, thumb and index pressing down, eye of the elbow pointing forward, tucking the toes, and start to lift your knees. So we want to, first of all, obtain that same length into our spine as we were doing onto our knees. So take a breath in, keep the knees bent, and then press your head in between your arms. Wide shoulders, wide upper back. Inhale. Lift your hips up, find that length. Bring the belly button in, maybe a little bit closer to your thighs. But watch out that you don't sink into your shoulders. So you want to keep those shoulders wide. You want to keep your spine straight. Your head can be pretty relaxed here. Inhale. Knees are still bent, especially if you know you have tight hamstrings. If you're sitting a lot, your hamstrings will be a little bit tight. So you want to keep your knees bent so that your spine can remain very neutral. Long, long spine. And then bring the right leg down, the right knee down, straightening the right leg. Inhale, exhale. Keep the upper body very long. And then changing sides. So lengthening the left leg, bring the left heel down. Keep on breathing. Keep on lifting those hips up. And then walk your dog. So we're gonna walk the dog a few times. One leg, the other leg. And this is something that you can easily do in the morning as well. So if you do a few times cat and cow, and then slowly make your way to downward dog, and just walking here, it's gonna warm up your leg, it's gonna stretch in a very calm way. So just warming up and stretching at the same time. And of course, your arms are gonna work quite a lot. And then bending both knees, lift your hips up, and exhale, bring them down. And we're gonna walk our feet towards our hands. And as we arrive here, bend your knees so that your belly can rest onto your thighs and drop your head. So we want to feel the head very, very heavy. Enjoy the weight of the head to maybe lengthen the cervical spine. So really drop it down. Your arms are very relaxed. If they're easily touching the floor, bring the palms up so that you don't have the tendency to push. If your palms are down, we have a tendency to push or to hold. So if the palms are up, we can just relax. Drop your shoulders, drop your arms. Inhale, exhale, feel the release. Inhale, exhale. And then we're going to start to bend the knees a little bit more, lengthen the spine. So we're sitting with our belly onto our thighs. Place your hands onto the thighs, roll the shoulders back, press into your feet, and slowly come up. And release. So take a breath in, and a breath out. Slowly come into your mountain pose. So your feet can be slightly apart or big toes touching, whatever is more comfortable, more stable for you. What we're trying to do in mountain pose is really to connect from the earth all the way up to the sky. So our body becomes like a body of energy where we bring the energy of the earth, the stability of the earth, all the way up. And so we feel a lightness, but also a grounding. So that's why the feet are a connection to the earth. So see what's more stable for you. Lifting the toes, feeling the arches, lifting, activating. So if you have flat feet, one of the best things to do, even if you're sitting, lifting toes, bring them down. Lifting toes, bring them down. So we're activating those muscles from the arch. And then spread out your toes and bring them down. Lift your kneecaps. As you do that, what happens with the rest of the body? The quadriceps will activate, maybe the belly button will rise, tailbone goes down. If it doesn't happen automatically, just bring attention to the quads, activate them, and then see if you can lengthen the upper body. So belly button goes slightly in and then lift. Tailbone goes slightly down. So we don't want to drop down. We don't want to make a hollow in our belly. We want to keep the spine neutral, but tailbone slightly down, because sometimes we're pressing the belly button forward and curving the spine just a little bit too much. It's not a natural move anymore. Lifting the sternum, lifting the collarbones, shoulder blades go down, relax the arms, relax the shoulders. So if you feel that you're too much holding here in the upper body or in the shoulders, relax, relax, just shake it out a little bit. Inhale, cervical spine. So imagine your cervical spine. It's smaller vertebra and they're holding this big, heavy head. So inhale, lengthen the cervical spine. As you do this, you press against your skull, your chin slightly goes down. And then now that we're solidly planted into the floor, we're gonna inhale and grasp that energy all the way up, lengthening our body a little bit more, very little. And then reaching up to the crown of the head, up to the ceiling, the sky. And close your eyes for a moment and start to bring a little bit more weight into your toes. So your heels remain on the floor, so the body remains straight, and coming into your heels a little bit. And then going to the right, don't be afraid to fall, your body will make you hop out. And then to the left. And then come back to center, and with your eyes closed, maybe you're swaying from side to side. Maybe you're very steady. So as we close our eyes, we don't have any external reference point anymore for our center. So our body is really looking for its own center of gravity. And inhale, exhale, open the eyes. It's going to bring the hands to the hips. Separate the feet just a little bit. Continue to think Tadasana, so mountain pose. So the feet are not wider than the hips. You want to continue to stay in a very stable grounded position. Bring the weight to the left leg. And then lift the right knee up. So the knee is at the height of your hip. Your foot is flexed. If you need a wall for stability, you can bring your left hand onto the wall. And then place your right hand onto your right knee and start to open up. So you see my foot is flexed. You're holding onto your knee, strong supporting leg. If you're very stable, you can reach your left arm out. So your whole body is still in mountain pose, except that leg that's lifted. If you're okay, you can look to the left, to your arm. So you don't want to create too much of a twist in the spine here. It's just an opening of the hip. And then coming back to center, bring your left hand onto your right thigh. So just in the middle, reach your right arm out or keep your right hand onto your hip. And we're going to close off. So bring the right knee to the left. Lengthen your spine. And then coming back to center. Bring the hands to the hip. And we're going to press our heel forward. Extend our leg. Maybe you can go a little bit higher. And then very slowly swing your leg through. So you want to swing your leg through. You want to keep your body one straight line. So now it's as if you're in Tadasana, but your right foot, imagine that's the foot on the floor, so that your whole body remains straight. Maybe you can go a little bit higher, maybe you have a wall to cheat behind you. And then slowly coming back. Release your arms, close your eyes. Take a breath in and a long breath out. Inhaling, exhaling. So place your hands on the hips, separate the feet a little bit again, if they came together. Bring your weight onto the right leg. So you don't want to sink into that right leg. You want to bring the weight, means strength into your right leg, because it's going to do the job of our two legs. Lift the left knee up at the height of your hip. So you don't want to go higher, because then you start to round the back. If you go lower, you're curving the back. So it is important to have the knee at the height of the hip. Flexing the foot, and then slowly bring the left hand onto your left knee and start to open up. You can bring your right arm out, or you can keep it on your hip. Press into your supporting leg. Feel as if you press into your foot, you're actually growing. And then you can look, to the right if you're stable, so maybe not for me. And then slowly coming back, switching hands. So right hand on the outside of the left thigh, left hand on the hip or out, and then close it up. So gentle twist in the belly here, strong supporting leg. And then coming back to center, bring both hands onto the hips, extend your leg. And then slowly swing through. Weight control. And again, that's long, long body from the crown of your head to your back heel, long body. And then slowly coming back and release. Taking a breath in and a breath out. And let's shake it out a little bit. So we're gonna move a little bit through sun salutation. So I want to do 2 sun salutations that we're really gonna flow, and then we'll start to break it down. Usually I do the contrary, but I think we need a little bit of movement now. So come to the front of your mat, find your mountain pose, your Tadasana, taking a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, reaching up the arms. So finding that length, belly button goes in, tailbone slowly goes down, shoulder blades down. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees in time. Inhale, long spine. So hands on the tibia, on the thighs. Reach your heart forward, neck part of your spine. Exhale, go down. Bring the right leg back, right knee on the floor. Inhale, reach up. So if this is too much for your stability, keep your hand on your knee. We only stay here for one breath. Exhaling, go down. Tuck your toes, lift your knee, and come into plank. Always the option, plank on the knees. Inhale. Now bring the eye of the elbow back to the front as we did before. Bring the knees down. Elbows go to the back. Your chest remains very open. Bring the chest down and the chin down. So your bum is up in the air. And then roll yourself in between your arms for cobra. Rolling the shoulders back, elbows back, looking down. No strain in the neck. So looking down, take a breath in. Maybe lift a little bit higher, working the lower back here. Exhaling down. Tucking the toes, pressing into your hands, coming onto the knees and move into your downward dog. So stay here for 2 breaths. Maybe you want to walk your dog a little bit, maybe not. And with your next inhale, lift your right leg up, bring the right foot in between your hands. So drop the left knee, and then move slowly. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, bring the hands down, tucking the back toe, lift your back knee, and hop your left foot forward. Inhaling, long spine, roll the shoulders back, neck in line with the spine. Exhaling, folding forward, gently bend your knees, press into your feet, and come all the way up, and we continue. Exhale, folding forward. Please follow your own breath. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, folding. This time, left leg goes back first, left knee on the floor. Same thing, inhaling. Up, find length. Exhaling. Placing the hands down, lifting the back knee, coming to your plank. Knees down, chest down, chin down, elbows back. Inhale, cobra. Stay here for 1 extra breath so we can find a little bit of strength into the lower back. And then exhale, coming down, tucking the toes, press into your hands, coming to your knees, and moving to your downward dog. 2 breaths here. Finding length in the spine again. And then inhale, lift the left leg up, bring the left foot in between the hands, right knee on the floor. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, coming down, tuck your back toe, lift your knee, and hop your right foot forward. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, inhale, all the way up. Exhaling, and release. So again, for 2 or 3 breaths, let's observe our body. Inhale. Long exhale. The exhale will allow our heart rhythm and our breath to calm down. We're going to go into a twist. So placing the hands onto the hips. This time, if possible, bring the feet together. So if your knees are knocking when you do this, separate your feet a little bit, because as you bend your knees are going to come together. So if they're already touching, it's going to be a little bit too much pressure. So keeping the hands onto the hips. First of all, we want to press the hips back. And then start to bend your knees and press your hips back a little bit more. And we're going to counterweight with our arms. So bring the arms forward, press the hips back. A little bit deeper, press it back. And then if you want, you can reach your arms up. The weight is in the heels. So your toes are dancing, your core is very active. You don't want to curve your spine here. So bring the tailbone slightly down if you feel that your lower back is compressed. Inhale, exhale. And then we're going to bring the hands in front of the heart. So there's a few options for the arms here. Lengthen the spine. Activate the core. And then exhale. So full pose is with the elbow, the right elbow on the outside of the left knee, and then pressing the elbow into the knee into the elbow, lengthening the spine and opening up. If you don't reach your elbow there, instead of floating up in the air, bring your right hand onto your left thigh, or you reach up your arm, or you bring it on the lower back. And then you rotate. And the third option is lengthening the arm down and the left up. And then opening up. What we don't want to do is bring the body all the way to the left. So we want to stay aligned. We want to stay seated. Maybe we can go a little bit deeper, opening up, lengthening the spine. The more length we have, the more we can rotate. Belly button. Inhale, exhale. And then release, coming back to center, pressing into your feet, and coming all the way up. And exhaling. Coming back to center. Take 1 or 2 breaths here. And yes, we have another side, so bring the feet together. Start to slowly bend your knees and press your hips backward. Keep the spine so as neutral as possible. That's what we're aiming for. Unless we're doing strengthening or rounding or curving specifically. Otherwise, we want to keep the spine as long as possible and neutral. You can bring your arms forward or up, or just keep them there, whatever works for you. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, start to twist. So you're twisting from your belly and find what works for you. So your knees remain in one line. So there's no, if one knee goes more forward, you're actually twisting in the hips. So we're really looking for that twist in the spine, in the belly. So find the option, palms together, arms open, tight, upper hand on your lower back. Inhale, and it can be different one side to the other, depending on your spine, depending on your shoulders. So just observing. And as you're here, keep on breathing. Let your breath find the rhythm of your body. One more breath here, opening up a little bit more. Exhaling. Press into your feet and slowly coming up. And exhaling, release. Standing into mountain pose or shake it out, whatever you need. But for sure, taking a deep breath in. And a very, very, very long breath out. So we worked the legs quite hard, so we're just going to release them a bit. So separate your feet, point your toes out, and then just start to move from side to side. So as you're lengthening one leg, you can lift the toes, just gently moving from side to side. You can place your hands onto your hips. You can also keep the toes on the floor, and then slowly coming back to center. We want to shake one leg, shake the other. Separating the feet a little bit wider than the hips. Just make little circles with your hips. Like I'm listening to my body. I'm seeing if I can find what's going to release a little bit the tension we built up. It's good tension. Its strength is changing sides. So if you have another move that you need to do, please go for it. And then coming back to center. So our legs remain in mountain pose. So by now, mountain pose should feel very natural. It's something that you can practice almost everywhere, wherever you stand and wait. Just bringing awareness to your posture. Coming into mountain pose, what we're trying to do is stack bones on top of each other so that the muscles require minimum effort. So as you're standing like this, bones stacked on top of each other, your chest is quite open, you should be able to breathe easily, and you can stand here for quite a long time. So keeping the legs stable, strong, grounded. We're gonna open up the arms. So see if you can press your arms a little bit more back. So bring the shoulder blades together as much as possible without curving the spine. So bring the floating ribs a little bit in, which automatically is gonna bring your tailbone more into a natural state. So don't exaggerate, don't go like this where we're creating a flat back. So we just wanna avoid the curving of the spine too much and the floating of the ribs too much. So press back and then bring the arms in line with the shoulders, and we're gonna bring the right arm underneath the left. So elbow on top of elbow, give yourself a hug. So you wanna reach for your shoulder blades, not so much the top of your shoulders, but reach for your shoulder blades, moving, walking your hands. And if this is enough of a stretch for you, you're gonna stay here. If you want a little bit more, keep your elbows on top and start to bring your palms together. So big shoulder stretch, so watch out if you have injuries. Go very slowly. If it's accessible, you can place the palms together. So your legs are still strong, your core, your upper body is strong. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, lift your elbows. And maybe you can bring your forearms a little bit more to the front. But again, move very slowly. Big stretch in the shoulders here. Inhaling. Exhaling. If you want to go add something, so bend your knees. Lift your right leg. So the right arm is under. You're going to lift your right leg and bring it over as if you're sitting in a chair. Just be careful you're not twisting. If you have long toes, you can bring your toes behind you. But the focus is on the arms for now. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper if you're twisted in the legs. Press your thighs together. So eagle pose. Exhaling. And then undo your legs if they're twisted. Undo your arms. And shake it out. So you want to, again, move your shoulders, whatever feels good for you. So finding your mountain pose again, opening the arms, maybe kissing the shoulder blade just for a breath, and then bringing them back in line with the shoulders. This time, left comes underneath the right, and you're gonna hug your shoulder blades. You're gonna hug yourself. And then go where you're able to go. So one shoulder very different than the other. We work more with our dominant side, so it might be stronger and therefore maybe a little bit stiffer. So just observe, and if you want to bring a little bit of balance in your life, if you do this in your life, in your body, if you do this and you observe one side being stiffer, maybe practice a little bit longer on that stiffer side. It's going to feel more balanced in your spine, in your reaction to stress, because that's where we take all the stress, the upper back, the neck, the shoulders. So if you want to go a little bit further, so now the left arm is underneath, so we're going to lift the left leg, pass it over, and maybe curling the toes around. So watch out that you're not twisting, we're staying very straight here, the hips stay in position. Focus on the arms. Inhaling, if you want to go a little bit further with the elbows at the height of the shoulder, you can bring the forearms a little bit more forward, filling that opening in the upper back. And then undo the legs, undo the arms, and shake it out, seriously shaking it out. Moving the arms. We're going to lift the arms up. Separate your feet and exhale, just release, bend your knees. Just let your arms dangle. Press into your feet, inhale, back up. 2 more times like this, exhale, release. One more, inhale. Exhale, release. And then inhale, back up, exhale, release. So I'm feeling pretty good now. So coming to the front of the mat, going into our Tadasana, taking a breath in and a breath out. Placing the hands onto your hips. Bring the right foot back, not a big step. So you want to be able to have both feet flat on the floor, pressing both feet down, your hips parallel with the front of the mat. And then bring your fingers into your hip crease, so a little bit lower than the hip bone. Roll the shoulders back, elbows back, opening the chest, long spine. So again, think about not too much curving. We want to keep the spine as neutral as possible. And it's natural that as we're here, the body starts to curve a little bit more. So by tucking just a little bit, but again, if you have a flat back, don't tuck even more. Okay? So inhale, and then exhale, straight back, going down. So neutral spine. Elbows back, shoulders back. Inhale, reach your heart forward. Press both your feet into the mat. Lift your kneecaps, see what it does for you. Exhale. So normally this is a hamstring stretcher, but if your hamstrings are okay and it's your calves that need stretching, that's where you're gonna feel it. So don't stay too much attached to what the pose is supposed to do or what you're supposed to feel. It's really depending on how your body is doing today. What you've done yesterday, maybe there was a lot of stress yesterday, your body's reacting to that. So take another breath in, lengthen your spine, and then slowly walking your hands down, wherever they're gonna reach, maybe on your thigh, maybe on your tibia. Maybe your fingers are reaching down. Relax your head, long legs. So our legs are still long, we're still stretching. Inhale, exhale. And now lift your back heel, bend your front knee a little bit, walk your hands a little bit more forward. We're gonna lift that right leg up. So you wanna press your heel away. You don't wanna go too high. You wanna have a lot of strength into your back leg. So it's not just a weight, but it's actually actively participating in the whole pose. Your front knee can stay slightly bent if you want. It's a forward fold. So if you want to go a little bit more forward, maybe you can grab your ankle, maybe not. Your toes are slightly pointing in so that your hips remain parallel. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, take a big step back for warrior two. So opening up the arms to the side, back foot 90 degrees, front foot pointing forward. The feet, the ankles are in one line. Relax the shoulders down, maybe go a little bit more down. And we're gonna go for 3 cycles of breath for dancing warrior. So warrior 4, so turn the front palm up and again move at the rhythm of your breath. Strong legs here, don't move your legs are remaining your anchor. So inhaling up, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. One more. Exhaling back into warrior 2. Inhale, press into your front leg. So for the moment, our shoulders and our hips are still aligned. Bring your left hand, so the leg that's pointing forward, bring that hand into your hip crease. The right arm reaches back. And then press your hips back. So you're finding a tilt in the hips to the side. You start to feel the inside of your thigh. Inhale, so your upper body is still very long. So we don't want to bend, we don't want to move forward. We want to keep everything in one line. Inhale, exhale. And now you can place your hand onto your thigh or a little bit lower. But in order to really keep that length, and then reach your right arm up. And as you move down, just don't bend into a banana. Keep that upper body long. And then we want to press the front hip slightly back, and the lower hip, so the left hip goes forward, so we can open up even more. Keep the spine long, one of the most difficult poses, so be challenged, it's okay, it's a fun pose, every day feels different. And then looking up, strong legs, so feel your legs rooted and supporting you. And then slowly coming back up. Bringing both arms down, bringing the feet forward, placing the hands onto the hips, and heel toe your legs together. And shake it out. So again, let's stand here for a moment into our mountain pose. Maybe observe one side of your body, the other one, just the sensations, no thinking why, no judgments, why couldn't I go further, no comparing with yesterday, today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow. Our body is different every day, influenced by so many things. So let's go to the front of the mat, gonna move to the other side, hands onto the hips, and then bring the left leg back. So there is some distance between the feet for stability. Your back foot can slightly point out. Your hips are facing front. Hands onto hips, lower them just a little bit, roll the shoulders back. Watch out for the curve in the spine. Inhale. Strong legs, press your feet down. Exhale. So and then go very gradually, moving with your breath. If it's too much of stretching, you stay there for a couple of breaths and allow your body to release. If there is pain, you back out a little bit. You don't want to go to the pain level. So inhaling, exhaling. And then release the hands, walk them down, support yourself where you need to be. Maybe your hands are touching the floor, drop your head around your spine. So letting go the upper body, but keeping the legs straight. Inhaling, exhaling. And then lifting the back heel, bending the front leg, walking the hands forward. So press into your right foot and hop your left foot up. Keeping the knee bent for now, so that you can stabilize your hips, so your hips remain parallel to the floor. Press your left heel back, drop your head, it's a forward fold, so your upper body is relaxed. Inhale. Toes can slightly point in to balance your hips. Bring, if you want, if you're stable, you can grab your ankle, otherwise just stay here. And then take a deep breath in, bend your knee a little bit, and bring the left foot back for your warrior one. So you can windmill your arms up. Exhale. And we're going again for 3 breaths, warrior 3. So move with your breath, turn the front palm up, and here we go. Inhaling up, reaching back slightly, exhaling, keeping the legs bent. So we don't want our legs to move with our arms. As your arm reaches up, you can look up. And as your arm comes in warrior 2, you can gaze to your finger. And warrior 2. Inhale, lengthen the front leg. Right hand in the right hip crease. And again, start to press the hip back. Straight upper body. When you can't go any further, so there's a lot of strength into both legs, pressing the front foot down, the outside of the back foot is pressing down. You can bring your right hand a little bit lower, reaching the left up, and then opening up. So upper hip goes back, lower hip goes forward, opening up. You're in between 2 walls. So eventually you'll have your hand on the floor. Requires a little bit more stretching in the inner thighs. But that's the fun with yoga. There's progress every single day. And the progress can also just be to listen to your body, because today it is here and not there. And then very slowly press into your feet, come back up, bring the hands onto the hips, bring the toes forward, and heel toe, but not completely together. So we're gonna keep the toes pointing slightly out. The feet are wider than the hips. Just for a moment, close your eyes. Observe your body. And toes and knees should be aligned. So as you start to bend your knees, watch that they're going towards your middle toes. Otherwise, there's going to be a twist into your knees. And then slowly going down. So wherever you're reaching, if your heels are lifting, that's okay. Don't worry about it. If you do this every day, I know I repeat myself, then you're going to eventually sit onto your heels. So let's move from side to side, lifting one heel, the other, just moving a little bit into our hips. And then coming back to center. We're gonna put the left foot on the floor. The right heel is lifted. My right hand is underneath my right shoulder and my right knee or my right leg is touching my right arm. And then I'm going to inhale and open up, maybe pressing that left knee back as well, opening up. So feel the opening in your chest as you're pressing your right knee into your right arm and your right arm into your right knee. So really opening up, pressing, opening, reaching. The whole body works here. And then exhaling and doing the same thing on the other side. So coming onto your left toes, right foot flat on the floor, hand flat on the floor, left, and then opening up, reaching up, lengthening your upper body, maybe pressing your right knee a little bit more back, and then creating that support in the left by pressing the arm into the leg and the leg into the arm. And then slowly coming back down, bring the hands in the back, and sit down. So for a moment, your knees are bent, your feet are together, your knees are together. Hug your knees, bring your forehead towards your knees. And take a few breaths here. And then coming back up, placing your hands in the back. You can go to flat hands here. The fingers are pointing back. Separate your feet wider than your hips. And then bring the knees towards the right. So your right knee is beyond your right heel. And then release. And you can lift the left hip, of course, and then see if you can press your belly forward. So opening a little bit in the chest, the shoulder again, at the same time, maybe feeling a stretch on your left hip, left waist. And then slowly coming back and going to the other side. And again, opening up. And then see if we can move from one side to the other. Move very slowly here. So maybe lengthen your breath or take 2 breaths for each movement. Releasing. And then coming back to center after you've done both sides. And then very slowly we're gonna go back to a neutral spine. This time the core is very active. You can hold your hands below your knees or behind your thighs. Take a breath in. Lengthen your spine. Open your chest. Exhale. Straight back. Go back. You can also bring your arms here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, and then very slowly start to round the spine. So one vertebrae at a time is coming down onto the floor. Bring the knees into the chest. Head on the floor, opening the arms. Gently roll your knees from side to side. And then bring the left foot onto the floor, left knee is bent. Opening the right knee, so Last hip opener here. So you want your right arm to pass through your legs. Your left hand goes on the outside of your left thigh. You lift up. So just watch out that you're not pressing your lower back too much into the floor. We want to go and get a maximum stretch into our hips. So keeping the spine neutral. If you want, you can lift up that left leg. If you want, you can grab your right foot with your left hand, grab your right knee with your right hand, and then maybe bring your lower leg a little bit closer, and then gently start to press with your left leg. Again, explore what sensations do I want to feel here. Do I want to feel anything? And that's okay. You can relax your left foot here. Your left foot can just hang. That's fine. And then release, bring both knees back, right foot goes down, open the left hip, and choose your options. So hands behind the thighs, some people like also hands behind the knee. Or you can grab your foot and your knee and bring it in, watch for the lower back. Inhaling, and this is something you can easily do on a chair as well. So inhale, exhale. And then very slowly release. Bringing both feet down. And we're ready for Shavasana, but if you have one more movement, one more pose, and you can invent one that you want to do, please do it if your body needs it. So maybe take one or two breaths here and just scan your body and say, what could I use now? What can my body use now before I go into final relaxation? And it can be making some faces, moving your ears, your toes. It can be happy baby. It can be whatever your body needs. Maybe your body needs Shavasana. So if that's what it needs, lengthen your legs out as wide as your mat. For a moment, place your hands, the palm of your hand onto your hip bone, and move your feet one side to the other and feel where the movement originates. So we're moving the feet, but the movement originates from the hips. And then let your feet flop out. Place your hands behind your head, so interlace your fingers gently, not too much, just very gently. And then grab the skin of your skull and lift your head a little bit and see if you can move the skin. Maybe you want to lift your upper body just a little bit and then lift the skin of your skull backwards so that your neck is long, and then come down. If you feel that your shoulders are popping up too much, bring the arms to the side where they would be in Shavasana, press onto your head, bring the shoulder blades under, and then wiggle yourself to a comfortable place. And we're ready. Taking a deep breath in, and a long breath out through the mouth, letting go. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling. And now observe every part of your body, or your whole body as or your breaths. Maybe just release, let go. Taking gentle breaths in, very naturally. If your mind is running off, just focus on your breath, focus on your heart. I invite you to stay here as long as you can, as you need, as you want. very different things. And just observe what is it today. Do I really want to stay? Is that what's going to let me stay? Can I stay? Do I have the time? Or for me, the most important, what are my needs? Do I need to stay here a little bit longer just for me to digest my practice, for my body to absorb all the moves, for my mind to stay calm for the day? If you need to get out, start to reconnect with your breath first, taking a breath in and a breath out, through the mouth, letting go. Then slowly starting to move toes and fingers, very consciously, very slowly. Maybe slowly moving the head from side to side. Keeping the connection with the breath. And then as you exhale, bring the knees into the chest, rolling over to one side and making your way into a comfortable seated position. Once you're there, gently tucking the chin. Bring the hands in prayer or bring the hands on top of each other on your heart. May your thoughts be peaceful, your words kind and respectful, and may your heart always be filled with love. Thank you so much for your practice, for sharing the energy, the time, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste.